What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Tony's Corner, a great girth segment. I decided, guess what we're doing? Another trailer reaction. I love doing these, actually, dude. I have learned that these are quick and easy to make. People love to watch them. I've kind of learned the art of, like, video equals more potential. So, for those of you listening, if you're a content creator such as myself, and you're kind of trying to learn the ins and outs of all this, one thing I've noticed is the shorter the video, the most likely it's going to get better views. And so, people tend to clamor to trailer reactions, but not always the case, because I've come across people that do what I do that say, well, their trailer reactions are like 20, 30 minutes long because they react and then they break down the trailer and they talk about it. I do parts of that here and there. I mostly just give you guys my reaction and kind of my quick thoughts, just because I figured you probably don't want to hear me talk all that much. So I'm already doing that. What are we going to be reviewing today? It's a film called Keeper, at least the trailer for it anyway, directed by Osgood Perkins. I don't know much about this individual other than he made Longlegs, which was... and then he made The Monkey, which was also... you know what I'm saying? Not bad movies. They were actually good. I enjoyed The Monkey, dude. It was good carnage candy. Osgood took something that was like a Stephen King story I remember reading as a kid that wasn't nearly as... It was an interesting story, but like it's a weird concept for a film. Now, in this case, you got a film where they expand upon the story in a more graphic and violent way, and that was what made it stand out. That's why it's perfect. However, the story still sucked. I didn't think it was that good. I enjoyed it. I had fun. I thought it was a pretty decent flick, but for that reason, I was like, I'm not a fan. And then with Longlegs, I, again, had an issue with the story. It was good, but I think that my honest opinion on it was I kind of felt like what we got was essentially Saw 7 with demonic possessions. It's a good concept. It was just the execution and the story was just... It was so out of whack, dude. I remember watching it thinking, okay, we got Silence of the Lambs meets 7 meets... What is happening here? So they were good, but they weren't amazing. I'm not going to just jump out of my seat for Osgood Perkins. Everyone is like, this guy is amazing. He's up there with Homie that did Barbarian. And hey, these are good directors, but I just don't think they're grade A. So I'm being honest with you when I say that I'm walking into this trailer with little to no knowledge of what this film is about. And I decided not to do a lot of research, and I'm just typically not excited for these types of reactions just because, like I said, unless it was like John Carpenter, dude, I'm just going to try to watch this and just see how I feel. Again, though, I've talked enough, and you guys came for the fun, so let's watch this trailer. Neo. Again. I recognize her immediately from The Monkey. Oh, dude, subtitles yet again.
Can I trust this man?
Can I trust this woman?
Oh, man. What next? I have this weird assumption this is going to be a body horror relationship film, probably.
There's something special about you.
You make the children.
If Del Toro gives you the thumbs up, you got it going.
I want to go.
And James Wan, of all people.
I want to leave now.
Oh, Leone.
I want to go back to before.
All right, so very little information given from that trailer, other than you got two people, they're falling in love. It looks like they go to some remote place, really, unless that's their home in some remote place, but this really looks, and I try to keep politics away from this channel, but this really looks like a toxic relationship, body horror. He's probably evil, she's the victim, or vice versa. We're seeing a lot of that, though. We're seeing a lot of these horror films that try to relate too much to like childhood trauma or relationship trauma or whatever. Not to say that this is a quote unquote woke movie, but it could be. I mean, Osgood Perkins' themes are very woke in nature, but he still makes pretty decent films. And what I do like is that this does give me like a culty feeling. You know what I mean? Like when we're watching the trailer, it looks like there's some cultiness going on here. It also does look very much like a body horror film, though. That's why I bring that up. It looks interesting. It looks like I said, it looks like it really could be themed on a toxic relationship. Probably has something to do with, like I said, trauma of some sorts. That seems to be a running trend these days. Movies that are based on traumatic experiences and so on and so forth, and how it makes you grow, yada yada. What we're seeing a lot of, I think, is more like goes back to what I was talking about, like with meta horror. Not a fan of it. I don't really care for it. Horror to me is meant to be scary. It's meant to be, for fun, essentially. It doesn't really need to be rooted in realism. That's kind of why I like horror films, is I don't like that other movies try so hard to be so realistic, but that's what we're getting with a lot of horror films now. And you can make the argument that for decades they've been doing it, but it's just gotten more and more to where every horror film now is based or rooted in some sort of traumatic experience or trauma that somebody's trying to survive or escape. So we'll see. It could be that. Or it could be, like I was saying, a body horror film where, like, what if it's like Together? There we go. But I don't know, man. It's got that culty feel to it. Or what if I'm just talking out my head and this dude's a serial killer and we just don't know it? It looks interesting, though. Like I said, very little is given. I won't lie about the fact that I do like the actress that plays the woman in there. I don't know her name off the top of my head, but I've seen her in some other things. So she played the mother in The Monkey. And, dude, she was perfect for the role. She looks perfect in this, too. I don't know who the guy is, but it's given off your typical, fell in love, let's go to the cabin and celebrate, and then the real comes out. It could be about abuse, too. This could be a metaphor for, like, escaping an abusive marriage. Who knows? That's why I bring up themes. It just shouts themes. You can just feel it. Maybe that's why Osgood Perkins has really got my attention, because as much as I don't like, clamor for his movies or run to them, I will say he's a good director. He's very good. I am not trying to knock on him as a director or his work. I still enjoyed his movies. I don't think they're, like I said, I keep hearing that he is on the Mount Everest of directors today that are like the future of horror. And I'm like, I'm not seeing that he's the future, but I'm also just a podcaster who does this at home. So what do I know, right? Anyway, Keeper. Are you going to watch the new Osgood Perkins movie, Keeper? I might. I want to know what that weird looking figure was. Not the three people that look like they could be in a cult, but there was like a weird, like ghosty looking figure, dude, that was like, I want to know what that is. But anyway, I'm probably going to wait for another trailer before I make the assumption of what I'm going to do. Most likely I'll wait for this to go out to streaming. We'll see, though. Osgood Perkins is a good director. Please, I want to make sure we know that I'm not sitting here saying that he's terrible. It's just I don't view him in the same light as like a John Carpenter or some of the real cats, if you know what I'm saying. But I am Tony. Make sure that you like this video and subscribe. I hate to ask for things. I typically am not that kind of person, but since we've integrated from Great Girth Studios to our own channel, Tony's Corner, where you're hopefully watching it, we kind of need to build it up. So tell your mom, tell your wife, tell your friends about Tony's Corner. And always remember, folks, to stay rad. Oh, side note, actually, before I go, I promised you guys Santa's Sleigh. I'm getting there. I'm just getting some notes together. I'm actually like starting to take notes when I do these, just so there's some things I can really talk about. And Santa's Sleigh is a film that has a lot to talk about. But that'll be on the next episode coming soon.